Hi there.
Good
to see you again.
Auditors paying Alexandra. Just wanted to tell you, finally.
Finally?
Finally,
Okay.
he sent the letter today.
When did we give him the opinion?
You sent that email a long time ago, and then we sent the letter.
Oh, the opinion?
Yeah, the
Okay. Get me what did you say? Josie.
You talking to me?
Yes, I was talking to you. Start building up a file.
Okay.
Like, get a copy of that email.
Okay.
Get a copy of what I sent him, reference to the taking down the check off of Veronica.
Oh, I don't know what you sent him on that.
Well, I told him that it wasn't right that he just not, without any consultation with the elected official, that he just took it upon himself to reduce her salary or the paycheck instead of programming it.
Okay, who would have sent you sent it or Homer?
I check with
Roy?
check with Roy.
Okay, I'm headed
Because
up there right now.
Roy gave me the documents.
Okay.
Okay. Joanna?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
We spoke before Christmas.
You're here on
The affidavit that I gave you
you
about
don't
my
know
father.
about your mom, Ophelia.
Yes.
There's nothing that can be done on the case.
Why is that?
I can't explain it to you except that there's not enough evidence to prosecute anybody. Your mom or any boyfriend.
Is there anything I can do to try to retain records for him?
No, you can't retain records because it's an open case.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to get anywhere being an open case, and nobody's
No,
willing
the
to
only
go
way-
find
the only
any
way-
records.
There's no evidence, corazón. Listen to me. Your mom was a neighbor. I know her well. I don't know your dad well. I didn't know your dad. Okay. Your dad was found out in an orchard. The sheriff's office looked at it. The rangers have looked at it. Edinburgh PD looked at it, and they cannot make a case against an individual. It's an unsolved murder case, worse than the priest case out of McAllen that happened 60 years ago.
And yet they're still working on it, or they're still
There's
investigating.
There's nothing to work on unless you have some concrete evidence that they can look at.
And how can we even know if there's any physical evidence or DNA if nobody's willing to find the records?
Yeah. If there was DNA, we would already have known about it.
There wasn't DNA back then.
There's no DNA. There was no sample they could have taken other than his
From
own
his
blood-
clothes?
Other than his own blood. If there was any bloodshed at the scene. Okay.
There's no motion, nothing I can file anywhere.
There's
State
no-
of Texas,
listen to-
Austin.
Listen to me. There's no evidence that you can bring me, or that anybody can bring me at this time, that would convince me that anybody should be held accountable for the death of your dad. Now, your dad wasn't involved with narcotics trafficking. There were several people that had a motive to kill your dad. Okay.
And so did my mom.
Everybody who lived around the neighborhood, around where he was, wherever he went with somebody, everybody who saw him that day was a potential suspect. Okay?
Even Mr. Molina.
Anybody who saw him that day, listen to me. Anybody who saw him that day, even you, if you'd have been a teenager at that time, if he disappeared, would be an umbrella of, it's not a suspect, but potential interested, como le dicen, persons of interest. They call it now persons of interest. Instead of calling them suspects.
Yeah,
No.
and since I was the last person to see him, nobody ever called me to interview me or anything
And who did you see?
because they
And
didn't
what
do
would you
their
have to say?
job.
And what would you have to say?
I would have told them that I saw the truck who took them.
Okay.
I would have given some description of the two men
And,
who picked them up.
and who do you blame?
Who do I blame? I
Yes.
didn't. I blame my mother.
No.
Now,
No,
today.
you want to blame your mother, but back then, who do you blame for somebody doing a sloppy job?
The police investigators.
And they're all gone and unaccountable. Okay. Now, the story that is most plausible is that your dad was involved with some heavy hitters back then, early in the trade, and that they didn't.
And yet there's no proof of that either.
No, there's no proof of anything. That's what I'm telling you.
That's why all this is speculation. People are just
exactly that you just you just nailed it. Speculation that your mom had something to do with it, that Mr. Molina, any boyfriends, girlfriends, ex-husbands, or husbands of any girlfriends that he might have had. Everybody had there was a lot of people had motives or potential motives. Not that they were verdaderos, but anybody could have done your father in.
Okay.
And the problem here is that we have nothing that I can say, okay, let's follow.
Well, we don't know. We have nothing because everybody lost their records.
Well, okay. Any records that I can see, we have nothing. Okay? So, that's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. I mean, I can't produce evidence that I don't have. And I can't ask you to produce evidence that you don't have. And that is a problem with law enforcement. If you don't have, it's like the killing of the DA in Kaufman County. It's fresh. They still haven't been able to get some fresh evidence, and it just happened. So you can see how it multiplies when this happened many months ago. Okay?
Alrighty. Thank you.
I wish I had better news for you, but it's not something that, if there was something in the file, there's a lot of people who looked at it that are very qualified that would have picked on it. Now, if you tell me, Rene, this guy confessed to me that he killed my dad, and that this was the motive.
And unless I recorded him, it wouldn't be credible.
No, you
Had I recorded my mother when she told me he deserved to die and he was tortured and he deserved it, and you know all these other things, ugly things that she's told me. Had I recorded her, that would have helped maybe in the investigation.
It might have helped, but remember that a lot of people say things in anger just to get at somebody back. Okay. People say, Rene, you're on the take. Of course I take bribes every day. Just to get them off my...
Just to get them off your back.
Yeah, get them off my back. Now, it's not credible, what I just said. I'll tell you, you want to hear something, I'll tell you. You want to hear something, I'll tell you. When I know it's not true. Why? Just to get you off my back.
Okay.
Now, on your deal, there's a lot of people working on old cases. Everybody who solves an old case becomes a hero. Do you think that anybody who's looked at your complaint wouldn't want to be a hero and solve an old case from many years ago? They would. I see it all the time because some people like the glory of solving an old case.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir. Hello. Yeah.